Okay, I got that one.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon now. This is Sean. Got Mr. Steve. Got another wonderful
Hey, buddy.
volunteer, Mr. Osborne, in the background.
How you
Um,
doing here?
we
Come
got
on, come
we're at the stones of
Come
John
on,
E.
get a
Corder
snack.
and Richard William Sadler. You might say, like, what's the significance of these two individuals? This was actually how I got involved. A lot of people ask, like, how can they get involved with their local community, maybe the local cemetery and whatnot. There are a lot of associations that are out there, and you just have to get in touch with them and see how you can help out. It can be something as simple as just maintaining the grounds, or it can actually be maintaining the stones, a combination of both. Um, so how I ended up coming to Oakland Cemetery was the first thing was through Find a Grave. There was a photo request for Mr. Johnny Corder, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll stop by the cemetery. And then this happened earlier January of 2023, and I so happened to run into the area, and I could not find these two stones. And once I found Mr. Harmon, who happened to be, working the cemetery. He's been working here for at least 4 or 5 years. He's volunteering his time maintaining the cemetery, and so he's the one who actually provided me with a cemetery map that actually showed that there's a John Corder in this location and the back location of Section 5. And not only that, there's, like, right next to John Corder would be a Richard William Sadler, who I was not looking for in the first place. But so once we identified John Corder's stone, we kind of did two things. We referenced the stone that was around the vicinity. So if you're taking pictures or trying to point out where stones are, especially hard to find ones, maybe find a stone or a marker that's off to the left, to the right, to the back. So like we have a veteran stone, Abbott, to my back left, and then diagonally in front of it, on the map, it actually shows Corder. So what Mr. Harmon showed me was a couple of things. We basically used a probing tool, went into the ground, and basically what we found out is, like, when it tapped into the ground, there was a hard tap. Went over to a certain side, there was a hard tap. Go a little further out, and then the tool went all the way in the ground. So that's basically how he showed me that that's where the stone would effectively stop. Now, if you went 4 or 5 feet in one direction and it kept having a hard stop, then you're probably on a tomb. But when it went about a foot in one direction, and then a foot left to right, a foot and a half left to right, and then it went to the ground, that's how we know the stone was there. The next thing we did, which was a pretty neat trick, is that once we identified where the stone was, we used a handsaw to cut the grass around, or cut around where the stone would have been, and simply just peel the grass back. So once the grass was peeled back, sure enough, revealed this beautiful marble stone that was John F. Corder's stone. And that request was in Find a Grave for about 5 years, or about approximately 5 years. And I can see, you can probably see why, is because, one, if anyone else tried to look for this in the past, they may have not had someone like Mr. Harmon, who is well experienced with the cemetery, to kind of help, one, show the map, and two, identify the actual location of the cemetery as far as which plots go where. So that was step one. And then as far as the cleanliness of the stone, because it was buried in the ground, it pretty much preserved it really well. And it's probably a really bright marble white color now. We didn't use any wet and forget, DT, or anything like that. Mother Nature alone has preserved this stone pretty well. And then the stone off to its left, which was Richard William Sadler. Sure enough, because there was Corder that was listed on the map, we looked at Sadler, so we used a probing tool, did the same thing, went about 2 feet in one direction, then we just hit steady ground, and then 2 feet in the other direction. It was pretty solid, then it went to the ground, the probing tool. And that's how we identified the location of Richard William Sadler's stone. And his stone was so well preserved, it's really clean right now, is that when we used the saw and cut the square around his what would have been the stone's dimensions, and we peeled it back, it was so well preserved that we looked at the back of the mat, if you will, the grass mat, and you almost had a reverse impression of the stone itself, which was pretty neat. But that's just a quick story of how I got involved, or how I came across Oakland Cemetery. I'm sure you'll have your own. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. Give us a like and subscribe, and we appreciate your support. We'll see you in the next video.